So this is the TCP/IP model, and in a way it is a short form for the OSI model, the Open System Interconnection model, which has 7 layers in all. But this is a simpler model to understand, and so we should start with it. So as you can see, there is a natural divide in the layers from the software to the hardware. So from the application to the transport, network, data link, and finally the physical media, the physical layer, which you have already studied in the previous modules. Before going any further, let me make it clear that these layers exist at each node of a network, and each of these layers communicate directly with the corresponding layer at any other node in the network. So for example, node 1 wants to connect with the node 2. So the application layer at node 1 will directly communicate with the application layer at node 2 and will not care about the transport layer, the network layer, and how things are getting implemented at these layers, and will just communicate with the application layer of the other network. So in a way, these layers are aloof of the implementation details at any other layer. So their functionality is independent of any other layer, and this was the main motivation behind making this arrangement of layers. Let's have a look at the layers one on one. The application layer, it's the topmost layer, and it deals with the software peripherals that the user is in direct contact with. So the user uses these web browsers, the emails, the web applications directly, and everything you use on internet and do on internet directly comes under the application layer. So it is the topmost layer, and it deals purely with the software. After that comes the transport layer. So the application layer passes on the data to the transport layer, and the transport layer ensures reliable delivery and error-free delivery over the network. So it can be implemented via various protocols like TCP or UDP, and so these TCP or UDP depend on the application being used. So TCP is a more reliable one, and UDP is the one which ensures quick delivery without reliability. So let's not delve into that more. I'll just give you a broad overview of it. So TCP functions in a three-way handshake way. So the node 1 asks for an acknowledgement from node 2, node 2 asks back for an acknowledgement, and then node 1 gives an acknowledgement back. So in a way, it's a three-way handshake which ensures delivery on both the nodes, and it ensures that the message has been safely delivered from node 1 to node 2. So let's move on to the next layer. After this comes the network layer. The network layer has the job of handling the datagrams. So datagrams are nothing but packets of data, and which need to be passed from one node to the other in a network. So it routes these packets of data, and it does that by naming each of the nodes with some unique name, some unique ID, and these unique IDs are called the IP addresses, the Internet Protocol addresses as we call it. And so the network layer is, again, it's not reliable, and it is connectionless in the sense that it does not care if the packet of data is getting transferred to the other layer, other node or not. It just passes on the data and forgets about it, and so the reliability is not ensured at this layer. After this comes the data link layer, and this layer sort of covers up for the unreliability of the network layer. So it ensures a reliable data delivery, and also ensures the cost effectiveness of the delivery. Now you must understand one thing, that when we are connecting from node 1 to a node 2 on a network, we have to pass through many sub nodes from node 1 to node 2. So there may be 3 sub routers between node 1 to node 2. So we have to pass from node 1 to the router 1, then router 2, then router 3, and then finally the node 2. Now the data link layer does not know the final destination. If it is sitting on node 1, it just knows that it has to go to router 1, and so in a way it is just concerned with the given segment of network and does not know the final destination of the data packet. So that is the restriction of this network in a way. Finally comes the physical layer, and now everything gets disintegrated into the hardware. Now as you have already studied in the previous modules, that we need to use copper wires or some type of optical fibers, the hubs, the switches, the routers, and all those hardware stuff that we need to use to connect between computers. So that is the physical layer, the hardware layer basically, where we actually connect one physical machine to the other physical machine.